Lord of the Rings. The movie. The book. Moria, you fear to go into those mines. The dwarves delve too greedily and too deep. You know what they awoke in the darkness of Khazad-dûm, shadow and flame. This movie is an adaptation or metaphor or something of this book, and I'll prove it later. But right now, we watched a movie today!
Yay!
Yeah!
Yay!
Woo! What was it, Matt?
Super Cyclone!
Super Cyclone by the Asylum. Good old Asylum.
No, well, I remember the last movie we did. That was Asylum. I'm not even going to worry about looking it back up. So it was like, that was last season. I don't give a fuck.
But it was fun, whatever it was.
Asylum has this wonderful kind of tenacity to have, create wonderfully bad movies.
Oh, yes.
And this movie, well, plot.
Plot? Alright. There's an oil rigger that is delving deep, and they dug too far and awoke an ancient flame, aka a volcano. There you go. I explained the metaphor. I'm not doing it anymore. There's lava.
You see the Balrog?
Yeah,
it's like walking lava.
It is. So the lava then superheats up all the water around the area, thus causing the whole climate in that area to really change rapidly, which causes a huge-ass hurricane to make its way towards Florida, California, just start, like, ravaging the Los Angeles area with tornadoes.
And volcanoes.
Fire from the sky, earthquakes, tidal waves, and sinkholes, along with numerous other things. There are 3 subplots going on.
Lightning striking shit.
I just think that is hurricane. But there are 3 subplots going on. Subplot 1, a group of scientists is trying to stop this storm.
Physically stop it.
We'll get into that part later. Number 2, the government is trying to save as many people from the Southern California area as humanly possible.
At least they don't have to evacuate half the country.
Exactly. Number 3, the group of oil riggers is just trying to stay alive. I'll give you a hint. Only one of these subplots makes it to the end with everyone alive. Not even everyone. Most of them alive.
Some of the people died during the most ridiculous circumstances.
Oh, they were funny.
Especially the guy into the sinkhole. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? This sucks.
All right, so let's just go over step-by-step plot real quick. The funniest moments, really. The sinkhole moments. The 3 scientists are making their way in a car.
The car scenes!
Yeah, the car scene.
And they're not 3 scientists. One of them is a structural engineer.
What the fuck ever. Point
there
being,
is a difference.
Matt, let's drive in a car, shall we? You can tell it's a car because it's a bumpy road.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Now imagine that for like every single car scene.
And they all always have the windows, like, basically the lights bleaching everything out.
So you can't see outside.
Yeah, so...
It's your, we'll get into acting in a second. I was about to talk about acting. But, no, the overarching thing was once they get to, this one part where they have to bail out of the car because fire is literally raining from the sky. They start running away. Oh, wait, then they get into the house. And then they start running again. And then they have to jump this sinkhole. You don't see the sinkhole. They always keep it just like the sinkhole would be where my feet are right now.
Somehow there's a 2x4 already across it.
Exactly. So the one person's like, come on, you can jump it. Come on, third scientist, you can jump it too. Come on. It's like, I can't make it. I can't.
He goes halfway, and then he goes back.
Yes.
And then he falls off when he's trying to go back. I'm like, if you were going forward and you fell, they probably would have been able to still catch you.
Yeah, that guy wasn't the smart one.
I think it's just because we ran out of stuff for this guy to say.
We can't forward the love story arc until we get rid of this guy.
He did all the sciencey shit he's going to be in with the science out of this movie.
He brought up all the science already, so he's out. Alright, should we just go into characters then, because fuck it.
Characters.
How were the characters in this film? Well, there were the
Day After Tomorrow.
Yes, it was. Except not nearly as likable. At least for Day After Tomorrow, I was somewhat rooting for the characters.
Well, I love Day After Tomorrow. It's a bad movie, but at the same time, it's enjoyable. It's fun. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
This movie is not.
No.
Asylum does pride itself, or at least I could see it priding itself on making movies that are bad, mainly because they're just a bad quality. Like Sharknado is a big one, obviously, that they came out with. But the problem is with the so good it's bad movie is that most of them, if not all of them, are not self-aware. Because the moment that they're self-aware, then they stop being a so good as bad movie. So bad as good movie.
That's more of writing. Let's talk about characters exclusively right now.
The characters are a major part of it, too.
I know it is, but you're talking about more... I'm talking about, like, the characters' actions and things themselves. You're talking about, like, how they made the characters, I guess. I'm talking about acting more than the characters. How were the acting? How about that?
That's a different category.
Fine, then, acting. It's not on our list. How was acting?
I've noticed a couple people in this before. There was an actor in here who's in Jarhead, Sam Mendes' movie Jarhead. Play one of the soldiers. These guys are just...
Was that the soldier guy?
No.
I thought he was the structural engineer guy.
It's the structural engineer guy.
Yeah.
He plays a soldier in Jarhead.
Oh. Okay.
But, to be honest...
No. I don't know. There was one guy.
If the sets themselves were of better quality and they were able to work with something in the actual environment of the set, they probably could have done better.
Maybe. No, because here's my thing with it. No, actually, you're probably right. But the one thing I wanted to bring up was there was one guy who was enjoying this. He was like the captain of the ship or something.
Yeah, you only see him in like the first half of the movie.
Like, we're taking on water! He's just shouting like crazy. You see him again at the end, he's more reserved and he's not as funny then. But like at the beginning, he's like, you gotta get out of here! We got a bad storm a-coming! It's like, you're funny. But everyone else is just like, listen to me.
Whoa!
There is a major storm coming and the casualties could be in the millions. No, Travis, you have to listen. It's always like that. And that's the other thing. I felt like they somewhat knew their lines, but especially during the scene when like
they cue carded everything around.
Basically, when they were first going over like what was happening, like when they first reached the NOAA or whatever the fuck it was. Noah, exactly. When they first reached that.
Just got that.
What, flooding?
Yeah.
Sure
it's not smart.
Well, I mean, it's the actual name of the place. It is a government thing. Okay. But no, when they first went into that, it was, there was one guy, Travis, the structural engineer, who was arguing like every point. He's like, no, I need to be back out there with the guys on my oil rig.
Dad, you really didn't fight that hard to get.
No. Not even that. But then the girl, the one scientist, the love interest at the end of the movie, she is, like, just saying the word no in as many ways as possible. It sounds like it's improvised. She's like, no, you have to listen, Travis. This. No, please, no, listen, come on, please. Bitch, you got your point across. The writers shouldn't have let this go on.
Yes, because that's what we call padding, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, let's just jump into writing, then. Writing of the general stuff.
This is the most basic you can get with this type of plot.
I think
they're just trying to throw everything into it, though. Like, with the type of plot, it's very basic, but the elements of the plot, they're literally trying to throw everything but the kitchen sink into this thing.
Think about your general disaster movie. You have one thing going on. Like, the movie Twister. There are twisters.
So everything is now going on.
Yeah, exactly. In this movie, we listed off that there is literally hellfire raining from the skies.
They were trying to outdo The Day After Tomorrow because The Day After Tomorrow had like the giant hail. So all right, we're gonna have hellfire.
They also had hail. And even when they, you know what? You may have been right because at one point they mentioned the hail and they're like, yeah, whatever, it's hail, whatever. Fire!
Fire! I'm like, and these people are like, there's this one time where they stop the truck and one of the guys is putting out fire in the bed of the truck. I'm like, guys, it is raining fire! Fuck the truck, just run! believe this woman's like beckoning. He was like, "Come on up here, help!" Like, come on! Like, you have to run through fire falling from the sky.
That was the other thing I was mentioning. Actually, there's more science. I want to avoid all like major science talk until the end, so I'm just gonna hold off on that.
I would be screaming.
Yeah.
All these guys are kind of like half running and whatnot.
Oh,
I'd be sprinting, screaming for my life, tears running down my face. Because guess what? There's fire falling from the sky.
And it's not like solid things of fire. What happened was the oil rig, oil got lifted up and evaporated, moved over onto the coast of California,
Started raining.
caught on fire. Boom! So it's literally globs of fire falling from the sky.
Globs of burning, sticky fire. It's basically raining napalm.
Yeah. It is a war zone going on.
Congratulations.
God.
God don't like what you did there.
Mother
Earth.
You were just a boy.
You just popped one of Mother Earth's big ass blisters.
Yeah.
And shit's getting bad.
That's the one writing thing that I think. Alright, I'm going to go into a little bit of science. When they drill for oil, they do a lot of subterranean sweeps and stuff to make sure there's oil. Because an oil rig is very expensive to set up properly. They want to make sure they're getting their money's worth. They wouldn't just put it somewhere and say, "Oh, there was lava down there, not oil." That's what would happen.
We knew the interdimensional doorway was down there, but we didn't think about drilling into it would be that big of a problem.
We're sorry.
Well, sorry.
Very South Park day.
And I love how that this is an oil rig that causes the end of the world.
It's basically BP on steroids.
So it's not pouring oil into the ocean. It's pouring oil everywhere else.
Yeah. All right, let's go into directing. How is it for Asylum standards?
Asylum, it's not nearly as bad as they can get,
No.
but it's not nearly as good as they can get.
What would you say the best that they could get would be? What was the best Asylum film directing-wise you've ever seen? I'd say the Sherlock Holmes. I mean, it was a fucked up script, but I think he did the most that he could with it.
I actually do not have an answer for that.
Okay.
I do not have an answer because I have not seen enough Asylum films to really justify an answer.
Okay. From what I've seen, I should clarify. I haven't seen all of the Asylum films either. But from what I've seen, their Sherlock Holmes one, you probably won't see it on here. But it has like dinosaurs and Iron Man and stuff. It's a messed up script. But you can tell the director was trying to have fun with it. So, directing as standalone here, compared to other just film, not Asylum, film. Dear God. Can we get the bar lower?
No.
No? That far?
The bar's right back here, and they're right about here.
Tell me, where is some good directors? Where's Francis Ford Coppola?
He's about here.
Okay. Early heydays of Francis Ford Coppola?
Early heydays, he's a little bit more here.
Okay.
You got like, early Coppola here, you got Scorsese here, you got the Coen brothers right about here,
Okay.
and then you have this one. I don't even know the name of the director. But then of course then
Steve Johnson.
Well then you have Uwe Boll right about here, and then you have Uli Mel resting calmly on the ocean floor.
So, okay guys, what's going on?
Yeah, he's just lounging about down there.
So yes.
And then Mr. Creepo's underneath him.
All right.
So
yeah. So yes, he's not exactly the best director. But then again,
and David DeCoto is rubbing himself.
There you go.
There's just a lot of dust being kicked up from the floor.
So yeah, I don't know. I always have a problem, like, because I've never been on a director's side. I've never been writing either, but I always have the problem determining what makes a bad director compared to just having bad writing, bad acting, bad all that.
It's everything really put together when it comes to its overall production, in which that the director and the producers are defaults because they're the ones who make the executive and the creative choices, and it's final things with editing. Like, one great example of really bad direction is actually painfully self-aware bad direction is in Uwe Boll's movie Alone in the Dark, where one of the guys shoots a gun and the bullet misses the person entirely, and that was a CGI bullet. You have to literally tell the person to miss on purpose.
Nostalgia critic
is bad directing.
Check it out. Yes, it is. So yes, I understand that.
And good directors can make bad movies too. You had Martin Brest. He was pretty good, and then he made Gigli, and it kind of shot down, and then he hasn't done anything since.
But see, that's not. From what I hear about Gigli, it was like producers and stuff were trying to cash in on like Ben Affleck and Jennifer. What was it, Lopez?
Yeah,
they were trying to cash in on that, so he turned it into a romantic comedy. That was not his fault. That's what I'm trying to say. How do we?
He
know
was the producer, he was the writer, and he was the director.
In that case, yeah, he's fine.
I'm not saying that studios were not involved in somehow butchering that movie, but at the same time, there wasn't a whole lot there to begin with. I'm going off of the shit that is put on film in front of me, and I know Martin Brest had something to do with some of it.
Okay. So yes, director in this film, not good. I think that basically sums up that plot point.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we get into the fun things of Asylum. The things that you go to see. The technical aspects. The CGI.
The same explosion.
Every time. Hey, talk about that helicopter.
It's the same explosion you've seen in Ice Age. It's the same explosion you've seen in every goddamn movie that is made by Asylum involving explosions.
Just that it's not really directed from anywhere. It's just that central, like...
The central bomb, and then it has those little tiny, like, debris, little fields going off.
Oh my god, okay.
Just that repeated on top of layers and whatnot.
You know what was the best thing about, like, animation schools and stuff like that? You learn the basics there. And then you build off of them on your own. So they went to an animation school, and they told a bunch of the guys, hey, build us a building that's being knocked over by a tidal wave. And they put that in here. I've never seen a faker building that wasn't intentionally fake.
The only faker the buildings that I've seen come from actual animated films.
Exactly. They get as good as they can in animated films with their budget. No, that's... Oh my god. It's hard to explain how... Because this whole thing relied on a whole bunch of fucking CGI. Like the storms, nothing was real in the way of storms. In fact, numerous times, they're standing out on a porch or in a room or something, and sunlight's just pouring in. It's a beautiful day.
Then it's raining hellfire outside.
Yeah, whatever, happens. And there's even one, right in between shots. Like we said, they ran from the car into the house while there's hellfire coming in. So they're like, oh god, there's brush fire everywhere.
Yeah, nothing's burning.
It's just like hell. No. There is fire on the ground.
In 2 places.
Yes, I will admit, but that's sciencey stuff. But then they get up onto the porch where there's ladies saying like, hey, come in here, you'll be safe.
I think we got you the first time, lady.
Come on!
I got it!
So they get up onto the porch and they do like a little pan thing around just to show them getting into the room. No, there's nothing there.
I know.
Nothing.
Just clear, open,
no
bright,
hellfire, nothing on the ground. It's
blue
just a
skies.
beautiful day.
Wonder how much this movie cost.
I think we should have looked that up.
We should have. You know what? And we asked him, we said, you know what? We can make you a good movie for the exact same amount of money you're wasting on this.
Yes, that's the whole thing. Going back to writing real quick. It was the fucking script.
The script. There's a lot of problems with the script.
Literally, as soon as we found out they weren't trying to save people, they were trying to stop the storm.
We were half expecting them to literally start shooting.
Yeah. We were like, all right, man, the tidal wave is coming.
Fire!
It's raining hellfire, sir. What do we do?
Fire back!
That's all it was. That's all we were expecting throughout the entirety of the thing.
They didn't give us anything else to expect.
Turns out the actual thing they were doing, what was it? They were flying an F-16 into the thing to drop some crystals or something that would...
To stabilize the wall, cause
magic
strike. Fringe!
But then the F-16 didn't work. So then they took a tanker ship, drove it through 2...
Subplot that goes nowhere.
Yeah. What, the F-16 one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that went nowhere.
That guy is like, my family's in Southern California. Ha!
I think they just want to know that the oil ship was still okay. Oh, by the way, the oil ship died. The 2 men that we were tying with the entire time.
Everybody on the rig dies.
Everybody. Because here's the thing. They didn't just, wait for the oil rig to go down.
They committed suicide.
They bailed off the side into
water.
the boiling water. That's okay. They could have stayed on the ship and they probably would have gotten rescued because they literally solved the problem not an hour later. But whatever. No, it's cool. Whatever. Anyway, they take this giant...
Fire! Everything's going down. Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Well, tough luck. Anyway, this giant tanker comes on through the channels of lava with a liquid nitrogen tank, and its plan is to spray it down onto the ocean floor, plug up the lava hole, and then that should just restabilize everything. Because of how cold the liquid nitrogen is, it'll make the water cool down.
Do you know how much... Should we just get into science?
Yeah, let's get into science.
Alright,
okay,
one.
CGI sucked. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, but alright.
Technical aspect. Or, sorry, science.
And also the practical sets suck, too. But, okay. Alright, one. Now, the thing is, you know the ocean?
It's a big place.
It's a full body of water.
It is Pacific Ocean, too.
This is deep shit.
Very.
Do you know, in order for water to be boiling in the ocean, of all places, underneath an oil rig, which is way above the actual,
Real quick,
the earth here.
they flat out said that this oil rig, the World 3 or whatever the hell it was called, is designed to dig deeper than any other oil rig before it. Yeah.
So, as a result, they fuck with the laws of physics.
Whatever.
The entire ocean would have to have been boiling to have the temperatures reach what they were. Because people were literally frying to death in seconds.
No. I'll fully believe, because hot water rises, cold water falls. No, wait, it's the reverse. Ice cubes float. Never mind, logic fail. Anyway.
Man, the polar ice caps would be shrinking like fucking crazy, man. You would literally see it, decrease miles a minute. I mean, whoa, anybody wants some ice? Just even better, it'd be so, loose and moist and whatnot, you just scrape it off the side, make it into snow cones. Yeah, it's it's all natural snow cones. I like lemon.
Organic. But no.
Chocolate. I want some chocolate and cream.
The one thing I really liked about sorry, technical difficulties. We're back.
Glitch.
The storm hit us. Okay. But no, what I was saying right beforehand was, there's this point in the movie where, you know what, here, it's just maybe a conversation here. General, I'm afraid there's been a problem. You see, the oil rig was drilling over top of the volcano. You see, it was...
Why are you still talking? Scramble the jets! I mean, this is a fucking volcano!
That's how we wish it would have gone. It didn't.
Boom! Big destruction! Shit will cause typhoons and tidal waves and tsunamis and all sorts of shit! Scramble the jets!
It didn't go like that. The guy just kept on asking, well, we better do something.
I need my trusty doctor to be here. In order. I need Dr. Banner.
There you go.
I need Dr. Banner. Where's Dr. Banner?
The last thing we really talk about in the way of stupid science stuff is there was a moment. Trust me, there's a lot more stupid science stuff. We're just having to overlook.
There's an ungodly amount of stupid science stuff.
Just for time constraints. There is a moment where there's an oil rig. Fucking obvious, no doubt. It is balanced. But then all of a sudden, for some reason... So what do? They say, dump the emergency dump. Okay. And then they're like, yes, we did it. Well, that did a lot. Thank you. And then they don't even mention. Maybe it's a plot thing and not a science thing. But, dude, it was stupid as hell. Because it was literally tip, back,
buoyancy!
Oh,
I don't care.
Alright, final thoughts. I'm done.
Final thoughts. This movie is one of the basic run-of-the-mill Asylum films. And... unlike its remake exploitation movies, which are a delight.
Transmorphers,
Sherlock Holmes, all that shit. This movie, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's a hybrid of several films. I don't really think that it's remake
exploitation. It's like every disaster film.
Well, like, you know, like with Sharknado and whatnot, they're trying to branch into their own schlock instead of just schlocking other people's schlock. I think I've just created a new phrase, schlocking the schlock. There we go. All right, we'll make a new show out of that.
It's not as good as Flasher films. But
yeah,
whatever.
well, it's like Flasher films, Meet the Meat. It's like, you know, we'll just... All right.
All right, so is that your final thoughts?
Yeah, well, overall, I mean, the movie is forgettable. It's not a major pain to sit through, and overall, it's nothing that's going to keep me up at night, so...
Okay, for me, I fully agree. We were cracking jokes the whole time, so it wasn't anything on the par of, like, those other ones from season 1, where it was just like, oh god, why do these exist? No, it wasn't that bad. We were cracking jokes at it.
Aneurysm, Tokyo Gore Police.
Exactly. It was on par with just some of the stupider things we've seen. It wasn't terrible, it was just stupid. Which is par for Asylum as a whole. It wasn't anything bad with Asylum either. CGI sucked, writing sucked, directing sucked, but I wouldn't expect anything different, really. So yeah, final thoughts on that. It's just stupid.
And you know what? We've walked away from this learning 3 very valuable lessons.
And we will share them with you, you lucky viewer, you.
Number 1, this is California.
Indeed it is. Number 2, this is a hurricane.
And number 3, this is a good movie.
3 facts.
Yeah.
All true.
Yeah. Get belched.
Bye!
All the bad boys want some more. It's